It is Locked On Jazz for the 28th of January. Happy anniversary to my wife. Is the small market inhibiting Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert from being an all-star? Ja Morant says no, but KPop says yes. We'll look at the Memphis Grizzlies and why they are so darn good. Plus, we'll continue our Eastern Conference series of Do They Have Anything We Want? And who are the points gained all-stars? It's a full edition of Locked On Jazz. Bum 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 pow.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thanks very much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen each day. We are free and available on all platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that little button right over there and make sure you subscribe and then hit the bell so you're notified. Note to everyone on YouTube today, we're going to do it differently. I'm going to do 3 10-minute segments. I didn't decide to do live. Kind of going to miss Ray and Bryce and all the crew on the live show today, but I want to try something different and see what it does and how long it takes. It might be better for YouTube viewers to have 3 10-minute segments rather than 1:30. For those of you on the podcast, it will sound the exact same as normal. All right, first thing, is the small market prohibiting Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert from becoming an all-star or at least an all-star starter? And the first answer is no, because Ja Morant just did. Now, Andrew Wiggins did also. So what happened here? So the first thing that is the voting system is totally screwed up on 2 different levels. One, rank voting system where you rank is just a stupid way to be able to equalize voting. I don't want to get into it, but it's just not a good way to do it. So the idea that, you end up with 16 votes like Chris Paul did or Devin Booker did from 13, and you rank third, and Luka, who got 0, ranked 7th because not that many people got votes, and so there's not that big a separation, is just a really, really stupid way to do voting. It was most prevalent with Rudy Gobert, who got 65 media votes and got a third. And then if you got 5 votes like Karl-Anthony Towns, you got 5th. And so your weighted score is just not impacted by that. It's a really stupid way to equate voting. Now, I don't know what they're supposed to do when one set of votes is 9 million, like LeBron's player votes, and then somebody else's media votes is 65. You obviously, and you're trying to weigh them equally, but player rank is not the way to do it. The second thing is 3 front court players and 2 backcourt players is asinine and absurd. It's not how the game's played even. I understand they're trying to get rid of centers and things of that sort, but I'm not sure I actually have seen very many NBA games this year that have 3 front court players and 2 backcourt players on the floor. So that's silly. So the whole system is actually jacked. No one's going to blame that. The storyline's going to instead be, Donovan Mitchell's small market player can't get voted to a starter for an all-star team. The truth of the matter is that the Golden State Warriors went and got a sponsorship with a K-pop star out of Korea who started hashtagging Andrew Wiggins for All-Stars and hashtagging Steph Curry, rightfully so. And that Andrew Wiggins rode the coattails of K-pop and Steph Curry into the All-Star. That's truly what happened, because Andrew Wiggins was the 5th player rank on player vote total. He was the 4th player rank on media vote total, or the 6th, but that's stupid because he only had 4 votes, but there were only 4 guys on the front court that actually had more than 20 votes. So then all of a sudden he becomes 6th. And then he turned out to be the 3rd on fan rank because of the fact that he plays with Steph Curry, and the Warriors got a K-pop ambassador, and Steph Curry got 7 million votes on that. And then Andrew Wiggins grabbed 3.4. I'm not kidding. I'm not making the story up. This is true. They got a K-pop star who's never watched the NBA. They made him an ambassador, and he showed up in a Wiggins jersey and did a bunch of hashtags, and everyone said retweeted him 8 million times over, and that made the All-Star game for Andrew Wiggins. This system is jacked. And if people are like really going to start making serious analysis of whether a player's future does this or that based on this, it's really sad because players get all-star bonuses and this system is just completely screwed up. Now, on the other end, I would say like Ja Morant is so magnificent and such a transcendent player that out of Memphis, he ends up with 3.5 million fan votes, and he ends up with the second most media votes, and he ends up with 116 player votes. That, like, give him credit. And frankly, you know, on the whole small market, big market thing, if you want to play into this, I walk around town or walk around the country, and it's interesting to me. I always take note of out of market jerseys. So if I'm in Chicago and someone's wearing something other than a Bulls jersey, and I can't tell you how often I see Ja Morant, and I can't tell you how often I see players of that ilk that are surprising to you who the jerseys are going to be. What I thought obviously was super interesting is like the player vote total, because the players take this about as seriously as K-pop. And so Anthony Simons gets 2 votes as a player, and Buddy Hield, who doesn't start, gets a vote, and Josh Hart gets 3 votes in the West, and Devontae Graham gets 7. And this is just a stupid waste of time. So remember this the next time you hear some player talk about media members that don't take it seriously, and how do they know? Or they're just totally sexist. You know what's like Jeff Garcia, because clearly the players don't take this seriously, and Malik Monk goes and gets 6 player votes, and Donovan Mitchell only gets 17. It is interesting, and on some of this, if you take there any credibility there, which I'm not sure there is, but Anthony Edwards, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, all Desmond Bain right with Donovan Mitchell for 17 player votes. The media rank is and Klay Thompson, by the way, you know, with 9. Like, okay, great. And Klay Thompson, by the way, was 4th on fan vote because of on guards because of K-pop. Like the Warriors, give the Warriors credit. Like whoever did that deal, it's pretty smart. Tap into the biggest social networking phenomena. I mean, maybe we could have had all the Warriors doing their little headbang thing on TikTok, and then they even would have gotten more votes. But you know, on the media vote, you have Steph and Ja Morant as 1, 2, seems pretty real. Chris Paul is 3, seems pretty real. Devin Booker is number 4, seems real. Donovan Mitchell is number 5. Maybe you should just let the media vote. Maybe you should, because you know what their job is? To actually pay attention. On the forward end of things, I do think it's interesting also we all talk about how little respect Rudy Gobert gets, but actually I would argue that the front court voting showed the exact opposite. Rudy Gobert got in the player vote, ended up with the 4th most amount of player vote behind LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, and Draymond Green. Like that's pretty respectful. Like the idea that now again we're taking this seriously. They gave Jakob Poeltl 7 votes and Jay Crowder 10, and you know, former BYU well-known Sacramento Kings baller 1, Trevor Ariza 4. So it's a little bit of a joke here. But in regards to those who took it seriously, for all conversations we have about Rudy maybe not getting the respect that he deserves, he actually looks to have gotten pretty good respect there. The media vote had Rudy as number 3. And so Rudy actually is the one who got shafted on the Andrew Wiggins thing. And then Donovan Mitchell got shafted because it's back and forth. Seems all a little ridiculous. A few more thoughts on it, but first, today's show is brought to you by Murdoch Hyundai, located at 4646 South State Street, also located in Logan and in Linden. As I think you guys know, we bought 2 Santa Fe's because we saw our 16-year-olds drive and they were terrible at it. So we went and did the research and found the safest, most affordable car we could get. A little spoiled, but safe. And really, that's what mattered to me at that point. And so, you know, I can attest that I saw Blake the other day, just a great dude. Saw Ben the other day, super family. They've been in Utah for 80, 90 years. and are really a part of our community and want to make sure that they do the right things. That's why they're not charging more than MSRP. Cars are being sold mostly before they get on the lot, so you want to jump on it. If you want me to set up a VIP meeting for you, you can go down to the lot, you can look at it, and then you look at what cars are coming in, and you probably got to reserve it before it gets onto the lot if you want to make sure. It's all Murdoch Hyundai, located at 4646 South State Street, also located in Logan and in Linden. It is Murdoch Hyundai. Still coming up on the show today, why is Memphis so good? Who would our points gained all-stars be? And we'll continue our final series of the Eastern Conference, looking at the players who who we might want on our final teams in the Eastern Conference today. Final thing on the All-Star voting. It also is not now what happens next. And I think the Wiggins thing throws it into a little bit of a loop, but there's 7 more spots. I probably was wrong last night. I was giving Paul George the edge. It's probably Karl Anthony Towns. Because Paul George just may not play again this year, seems to be the word. And so it will hurt his voting. But it's pretty Chris Paul and Devin Booker get in. Draymond Green, I think, deserves to get in unless he just doesn't play again, but he's been incredible. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Luka Doncic, and Karl Anthony Towns. The losers to me on that are DeAndre Ayton, and then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, DeJounte Murray, and maybe Anthony Edwards, or in regards to that, are the guys who were are the losers on that deal, and probably deserved a little bit more respect, unless you're going Desmond Bane for an all-star, and frankly, points gained doesn't. Totally disagree with you on that. But I do think the West is Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Draymond Green, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Paul George, and Luka Doncic. But I am pulling Paul George and saying it's Karl Anthony Towns, because of just not games played and the fact that he's not heading much further along the way. All right, we'll continue and look at why the Memphis Grizzlies are so good, as well as our points gained in our, if anybody want on YouTube, that'll be on a separate edition of Locked On Jazz.